SecondsOut, welcome you to the latest edition of DiBella's Digest with the man himself, Lou DiBella. And as always, I have to ask, Lou, how's your week been?
How's my week been? I went out on the boat this weekend a little bit. I got out and tried to see a little sunshine and get away from everything. I mean, things over here are crazy right now. You know, my friend and former lawyer, Leon Margulis, has COVID right now. He's he's been struggling. He's not on a ventilator. He's at home. He's doing okay. His wife has it. I mean, Florida, Arizona, the whole south of the United States, it's worse than it's ever been. The New York area where I am right now, I think we did a pretty good job of the masks and the social distancing, and things have been improving here. But the country's completely raging with the virus. I just noticed actually, and I know that Eddie and DAZN are going to go to Tulsa in August. I just noticed that Oklahoma's numbers are exploding. I mean, things are just very, things are hairy over here, man. It's like it's not very reassuring about the future, Danny. It's strange times.
How's your weight loss going?
I'm heading in the right direction still, but I mean, I lost 10 really quickly, and then like the last week, I think I lost 2 more pounds. Which I guess is better than gaining 2, but I'm pretty much, it's getting harder. I did something, I hurt my foot, so I was like walking 5 miles a day, but I can't walk 5 miles a day with a broken toe. So at the moment, I'm trying to like limit the calories and get myself on track. But things are okay. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm really like missing anything normal, Dan. Like it's hard to continue to, and to try to make believe everything's getting right back to normal, because it's not,
I want to talk to you about something in which you have a great deal of experience and expertise, and that's TV viewing figures. I think when lockdown was going on, we were all desperate for boxing to come back, and there seemed to be this narrative that built up that fans would be so desperate for boxing action, unable to attend live, that figures, regardless of quality of content, would be high. That's not what we've seen either in the US, and on Friday when we came back here in the UK, similar, very, very low or disappointing figures. What do you think are the main factors behind that?
I don't know. I was trying to think about that myself. I mean, look, we're not coming back with our biggest and best names or product. So that's part of it. I think another part of it is the world's just fucked up right now, and everybody's got bigger worries. And I think it's the hardcore boxing fans that keep talking about boxing and nothing else on social media. They simply don't amount to huge numbers. I mean, we need our product to go across to the more casual boxing fans, to sports fans. And I think right now people are just focused on their own lives. I think a lot of people have issues with their jobs. I think there's, if you have any kind of emotional issues or depression or anxiety as part of your life, it's got to be way worse right now. Suicides are up, depression is up, domestic violence is up all over the world. I mean, and I think part of it is, I don't think it's so much boxing as it is in general. Maybe people just aren't, people got bigger worries at the moment, I think.
With your TV executive's hat on, what, if anything, could the promoters and the broadcasters do to make their product more attractive, except for, putting bigger fights on, which isn't possible at the moment?
I don't know that there's a whole lot that can be done. I don't. The protocols are very expensive. Revenues are decreased. You're seeing interviews on social media the same way I am from the Andrades and other fighters out there saying, hey, I'm not taking a pay cut. Which on one hand is their prerogative, and on the other hand, it may mean that fighters are going to be sitting for a while. It's just it's a very difficult time. It's an unprecedented time. No one's gone through a pandemic before like this in our lifetimes. So, I don't think we should be too surprised by much that we're seeing. The question I'm going to have, honestly, is what's going to happen? Like, the show with Dillian Whyte and Povetkin is certainly an attractive show, particularly in the UK, right? I'm very curious to see how that performs on pay-per-view. I'm curious to see the first time that we force a big fight into the bubble, where we do a big fight in America with that, or a meaningful fight, a meaningful fight that we think is a meaningful fight in America. How's it going to perform? I don't know. I think it's going to be interesting to see, but I think we're in a period of, look, nobody's going to restaurants, nobody's going to theater, nobody's going to live sporting events. People really aren't going to taverns and pubs. Even where they're open, most people aren't going. Younger people have been a lot more cavalier about the whole thing, but now they're starting to get sick here. The average age of the people getting sick in the state of Florida is in the 30s.
Wow.
So younger people are starting to get sick again. I just think everybody's sort of like, off kilter. And it's hard. We are in the most unpredictable time of our lives. And that's one thing I think we all, across international borders, across state borders, that we're sharing. We're in a time of tremendous uncertainty and a little bit of a frightening time. And I don't think anything should be so surprising. And I don't know. At the same time, though, you have to wonder, UFC did 1.3 million pay-per-view buys on Friday. Now, they're charging ahead and they're putting their best product out there, and maybe that would make a difference. Maybe we will see, I think that Eddie's card on the 22nd in the UK is going to be an interesting test. I don't put much credence to that. I don't put much meaning behind what's going to happen with the initial shows in his backyard, the smaller shows. But I think what's going to be very telling is he has some major fights on the 22nd. How does that perform? Maybe that helps you over there in the UK get closer to some normalcy when it comes to boxing viewership or pay-per-view buys. We're going to find out. I also think that if people are looking ahead, the likelihood is we're heading toward difficult economic times all over the world. So it's going to be interesting to see, are people as eager to pay whatever it is to 20? What is it? Is it 20 quid? How much is it to?
They haven't actually revealed it yet. It is usually £20, yeah, 19.95. But they haven't revealed if there's going to be any sort of reduction this time around as yet.
I mean, it's going to be interesting to see whether there's any pushback, because certainly these are more difficult times. I do think that there's probably a great demand. I'm guessing you would know better than I, but I would guess there's a demand for a bigger show. I would think that it would certainly appeal to the fan base over there. Like, I would expect he'll do well. I don't know, I don't expect any records being broken, but I would expect that he'll do well on the 22nd.
Yeah, I would think so. I would think for the casual fan base, Dillian Whyte, he's headline. I think this is his third pay-per-view headline fight. So you would expect it to do well. That's not including the Joshua fight, in which he wasn't the A side. Third row as the pay-per-view A side, I guess. Not counting Marius Vac, obviously, which was a tune-up after his time out from Rivas. But yeah, I mean, we're waiting to see. I don't think it's going to do as well as previous pay-per-views when the world was normal. But I think it should be promising. Let's hope so.
Yeah. I mean, look, we all I'm hoping for the recovery of the world, and I'm certainly hoping for the recovery of our industry and our sport, but I also think that my expectations aren't insanely great at the moment. I think that, certainly my country's a mess right now, and it's a mess with this pandemic. It's a mess with crime and hate, and it's a very, very strange and disturbing time in America. I think it's a strange and disturbing time all over the world, maybe a little bit worse here at the moment. So my expectations aren't insanely optimistic. I'm trying to stay sane in a while attempt to keep some hold on realism.
You mentioned about boxers not being willing to take pay cuts, which, as you pointed out, is their prerogative. Do you think that's kind of a byproduct of how the boxing market's been flooded with money at a higher level in the last couple of years?
Yes, because there are guys that have been making insane money who don't deserve it. There are guys saying, I won't take a pay cut, but meanwhile they don't sell tickets outside of their own hometown. They don't sell pay-per-view. I mean, the Bud Crawfords and the Andrades that are making millions and millions of dollars, it remains to be seen how quickly they're going to fight when there are no gates. But again, it is their prerogative. People, and there are contracts out there. And also promoters are starting to create, some of the promoters are creating a little bit of a slippery slope for themselves. Because if you're starting to do shows, then are you back to doing business as usual or no? So there's going to be, I expect you'll see more disputes between fighters and promoters going forward than you've seen before, ever.
I wanted to ask you before we go about a subject close to your own heart, and it reached BBC website today regarding the New York gyms still not being open and seemingly no real pathway to getting them open. But one of your fighters, Heather Hardy, was quoted in that piece as well. I just wanted to ask, do you see a way forward for this in New York State and how those gyms will eventually be reopened? Because there are gyms open in other states.
Yeah, and there are gyms open to limited capacities. In other words, letting the gym maybe let a limited number of people in who are professional fighters so they can prepare and be ready and participate. I mean, Amanda Serrano wasn't kidding around when she was complaining about what's going on in New York. And you see with Heather, and also a lot of these people are personal trainers. They can't even socially distance, go to a gym and train and make a living that way. So however, the flip side of it is the rest of the country is a mess right now, and New York and New Jersey and Connecticut are improving. So it raises the question, do you change what you've been doing and run the risk that you're back where you started? Because right now, believe me, New York wouldn't trade places right now with Florida or Arizona or Texas. So, you know what, I get it on both sides. I think from the standpoint of, it's got to be very frustrating. My friends who are gym owners, a lot of them are going to be forced out of business. I mean, there are businesses that are simply not going to recover from this. But I have to be honest. I mean, what I'm about to say, I don't want to be saying, but if this thing continues indefinitely and I can't do shows and I can't do anything, I'm going to hit a point at some point, and I got to take a good look at things in 6 months or so. I mean, I don't know where things are going. I'm hoping for the best, but right now we're hoping for the best all we'd like. But the best is coming about right now in the States. The best isn't happening around this country right now. So, it's we're all in a different sort of quandary. I respect and I applaud the people that are moving ahead and trying to do this. But I'll even give you an example. I wonder, one of the things that I've been wondering about the last few days, like Golden Boy has a fight scheduled in California, right? And Eddie has a fight scheduled in Tulsa, but they're like one-offs. Top Rank's sort of been doing this in a bubble in one place with regularity, and they're still having all these problems. And I'm wondering, will these one-offs work? I don't know. I don't know. I hope everybody's able to run successfully with no complications. But you know what? We've had political protests there, and they didn't result in good things. We've had people returning to public events in certain cities, and they didn't result in positive, results. You saw more people getting infected, more people getting sick. So, I mean, I'm hoping for the best, and we'll see. I don't know, man. I sound like a broken record, I know. I'm trying to keep these DiBella Digest somewhat interesting. But honestly, I'm still living in Groundhog Day. It hasn't changed.
You're always interesting, Lou. I don't think that's ever going to be a concern for yourself or for DiBella's Digest. Really appreciate it. Obviously, we'll see you again next week just to continue the Groundhog Day theme. We're never going to leave you alone now. You're signed for life to Seconds Out.
Hey, I'm okay with it, man. I enjoy my little half hour a week on a Wednesday afternoon here, and you know what, man, it's keeping me sane a little bit to keep talking. I'm used to being out there. I'm used to being a public person, and right now I got nothing to do. I have 2 baseball teams closed down with no seasons, and I can't promote a show. And my employees are on part-time or furlough. It's a rough time. It's a rough time, and and just try to get through it the best we can. That's all we can do, and hope that we get our world rolling again and that we can get past this and put it in our rearview mirror sometime in the foreseeable future. But always a pleasure, Danny. I'll see you next Wednesday, buddy.
All right. Cheers, Lou. Take care. Stay safe.
Take care. Bye-bye.